Hey everyone, today I went to the grocery store and I bought a couple of cakes and I'm going to show you how to decorate them with butterflies just a few different ways. So I've got a cake here. I'm going to decorate it one way, and then if you want to see the full blog article, it has lots of pictures and lots of different styles, and I am going to stack two cakes and show you a couple different styles with that. That I did get them at the grocery store, and you can get smaller cakes at the grocery store too, so it's not like you have to invest a tremendous amount of money in it to make a really nice looking cake. So if you want to see that blog article, there's a link in the description. You can also go to Google and just search "a cake to remember, butterfly cake decorating ideas," and I have a couple of blog articles that should come up to help you out. The cake that I got from the store has some buttercream icing flowers, and that gives you a really good place to put some edible butterflies. So that's one tip if you're looking for something that's kind of pretty and makes sense to have butterflies on it. Get something with some flowers if you can do that. And the butterflies are printed on one side. They're not printed on both sides, but you see it's kind of transparent. This is the side that's not printed, and you can still see through them. So it's not like going to be super obvious that they're not printed. Just bend them a little bit. If you put them in your hand, I'm going to hold this up here. I don't want to touch the cake. If you put them in your hand and just kind of hold them, the moisture and heat from your hand will kind of make them bend a little bit. And you can actually bend them, but you have to be careful. If the air is too dry, it can break them. So you have to watch out. But if you bend them like that, then they will kind of have the wings up like that, and you can just place them directly onto the cake. And they stick. That's it. That's all you have to do. So it's not difficult. And I am going to use these blue butterflies and just go around, and I'm going to put them a couple places. These stick directly to buttercream. You don't have to worry about it too much. And you can put them on the sides of the cake too. Oops, now see, I cracked this one. See this one? I bent it too hard and it cracked. But it's okay because you can still stick it right on the cake. I'll put it on this flower. And it just stays right there. It's fine. So even if you crack them a little bit, it's okay. Just stick it right on the cake. And they will stick together if you have some water and you want to moisten one side. It will kind of glue itself to each other. So if you do break one, it's not a big deal. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on. Now you see this right here, where you can see the icing on the side of the cake. I'll lift this up a little bit so you can see it better. That's not tremendously gorgeous, where you can see through to the filling. But that's easy to fix because all you have to do is stick a butterfly on it. See that? So, if you're going to do this, what I would do, I'm going to put some up here. I'm going to take some more and I'm going to make kind of like a little cascade going down this way, and that makes sense why there would be a butterfly sticking there. And the only thing you need to be careful of is that if there's a lot of moisture on the cake, and this cake was in the freezer, I think, and it's developing condensation as it warms up. The condensation can soak into the wafer paper butterflies and make them warp or melt, so you have to be careful about that. But other than that, they'll stick to the cake, and you don't really have to make too much of an effort. And you can see it's not printed on the other side, but you can't tell. So let me hold this up. I think that might be, and all of these butterflies that I put on there are about 2 inches wide, and this is an 8-inch cake. So that's really all you need to do. Now if you want to take some smaller ones and add it, you could do that. Let me see. I have these little teeny tiny ones, so you can put like one up here. You can put one right here, maybe one right on the side, and that's all you need to do. It's very pretty. It's a fast way to decorate a cake. And honestly, you can wait and do this right before the party starts if you're worried about the condensation affecting the butterflies at all, because it doesn't take long to decorate a cake with edible butterflies. I just did it. It took 3 minutes. It's not a difficult thing to do. So now I'm going to take these off, and I'm going to show you a way to do like a butterfly cascade that wraps around the cake, because that's a pretty way to do it also. I've taken those butterflies off, and you see, once you stick them on, you can't really pull it off. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I've kind of destroyed that flower. But just be aware that when you stick it onto the cake, you're going to have to kind of leave it there or just adjust it a tiny bit, because it might pull the icing off. All right, so I'm going to start with a curve that goes around the cake, starting on this flower and around here and down the side. And I want to put smaller butterflies up on the top and then make them bigger as it goes down to the bottom. And that is one thing you need to kind of think about, is the scale. If you have a smaller cake, little butterflies might be better, unless you just want one big one that's kind of like a focal point. But if you're putting a lot on, then start with the large ones and then work your way into the smaller ones, because that's how you kind of figure out what places you have to fill in. So I want the curve to start around here and go all the way down here and end up kind of over on this side. And that will also cover up this section that doesn't have the icing covering the cake. So I'm going to start with the larger ones. Let's see, this is a big one. And see how it's going to wrap all the way around here. So I'm going to put this one here to be the start of it, and then it's going to wrap all the way around the cake and come up this way. Okay. So let's just start covering this up. And I'm using the bigger butterflies now. And you can use, like, if you want to use a specific color pattern, you could do the darker ones and then make it go lighter. I'm just putting the size, I'm just going by size. I'm not worrying about the color. These are all blue, so they'll all go together. Okay. And at this point, I'm just kind of marking where it's going to go. So it's going to start here and it's going to curve around. Okay, and I want it to end up, well, I don't want a super big one right there. I want it to be smaller, so I'm going to put this one here. Okay, and I'll put this one here. All right, and I'm going to, let me turn this so you can see it. I'm going to put at the base, where this one starts, I'm going to make it kind of thicker, so I'll put more butterflies there. Okay, so it's going to be kind of a, this is where they all start. And if they start coming off, just press them on. That's okay. And as these sit on the cake, they're going to absorb moisture and they will soften up. And that's okay. They're not going to completely melt and lose their shape, but they will get a little bit softer. That's all right. So there's a lot of them right here. And I'm going to move around this way, put one here. Let's see, I'll put one right here. Okay, so you see, so it's thicker here and then it's starting to get thinner here. I'm going to start putting in some medium-sized ones. And then as we curve around, put some smaller ones up on the top. You can change, I mean, I'm just using blue, but you could do different colors if you wanted, obviously. And if you wanted to do like a rainbow effect, you could start with one color and kind of go through the rainbow spectrum all the way up to the top. And when you get up to the top, I don't want there to be as many all crowded around together. So let me take some of these small ones. I'm going to take some of these small ones and attach these to the ones over here. I'll put that on that flower. And so this is what I was talking about, starting with the larger ones. So you kind of fill that in. And then when you see the spaces that need to be filled in, you can do that. And just fill in the holes where they need to be filled in. Okay, and I might put a couple small ones down here. I'll pick this up and show you. I know that it's kind of hard to see as I'm curving it around, but I'll pick this up so you can see it when I'm done. Put one here. And just, you know, you can add as many as you want just to give you the kind of fullness that you want in the effect. But for this, all right, this is very dark. I'll try to do this. So there's a lot of blue here, and then as it wraps around the cake, you see that it ends up at the top with the flowers on top like that. And the smaller ones are up at the top. So that's one way to do it. And you can also just scatter them all over the cake. That's perfectly fine too. But I kind of like this effect because you could do different colors. You could start at purple and then make it a little red, and yeah, just change it as it goes up around. It's dramatic, it's pretty, and it's really easy to do. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take all these off the cake. I might leave I think I'll actually leave these on, and I will stack this and put another smaller tier on top and continue the cascade up that tier. But I'm going to do that in the blog article. So if you want to see that, go to Google and search for A Cake to Remember Butterfly Cake Decorating Ideas, or use the link in the description of this video. I'll put the link there to the blog article, and you can see all the different ideas there. I will have different pictures of different arrangements with the butterflies, and so you can just get an idea of different looks that you can create. Okay, I started working on this cake. I stacked it, I took pictures, all that's going to be in the blog article, but I didn't like it. So I took the flowers off, and the purple swag's not a fan. So this is what I'm going to do to the cake. I've completely decimated it at this point. I've taken all this icing off of it, and I took the butterflies off. I have pictures of this process, so go look at the blog article, but I basically have re-iced this using the purple, and I took the purple flower and made it into a little blob of icing. I'm just going to take this spatula and drag this around here, and I'm going to keep working this until it looks the way that I want it to look, and then I will decorate it with white butterflies, and I will show that on the blog article. So go on over there and see it, because I think it's going to be really pretty when I'm done. I wasn't a big fan of the purple swags, but sometimes that's what you can get. I would suggest that if you go to the grocery store, you get something that has a color on it that you like, or just order a white cake. Because if you order a plain white cake and have them, you don't even need to have them stack it. That might cost a lot. If you order this is a 5-inch and this is an 8-inch. If you just get 2 plain white cakes, then you can decorate it with the butterflies and not have to worry about anything. But if you have something that has a color that you're not 100% in love with, you can totally mess around with the icing, and that's what I'm doing. So going over to my blog, go to Google, search A Cake to Remember Butterfly Cake Decorating Ideas, and you can see all the photos over there. But I just had to show you this because I'm pretty kind of amused by it. Just the fact that I just wrecked this cake completely, and it's going to look so much better when I'm done.